A man and a bear walk into a bar. The woman tending the bar says, "Boy, am I glad to see one of you. If you like that joke, you're gonna love this video." I know I'm late to the punch here, but honestly, I've been thinking about this more than I should have, so I want to talk about it. First of all, just in case you somehow haven't heard this yet, welcome to the online world. Everything's terrible here. The hypothetical in question is presented to a woman. If you are walking alone in the woods, would you rather encounter a random man or a random bear? And allegedly, women are more likely to say bear. We'll get into that. When I presented it to my wife, she adorably said that she would rather encounter a man because she has a better chance of beating up a man. 1, I agree with her tactical assessment. 2, she immediately went to combat. Where does this come from? The TikTok account CallMeBK says he's the originator of this meme, and I believe him. I wasn't able to find any earlier instances or discussion of it. In the video in question, he was talking about how misogyny is worse than misandry, and at the end, it's sort of a tag, he says this.
They hate what society has done to men. They are scared of men. If you're alone in the woods, seeing a man is 10 times scarier than seeing a bear. So if you don't know any misandrists, if you're not friends with any, you actually need to go touch some grass, because, like, most women are misandrists.
So while that video was not and did not purport to be any kind of survey results, there were surveys done after this. I'm going to show you just one video I found on TikTok, just kind of at random, but there are many other videos like this, and honestly, this is probably the core of what is kind of bothering me about this. It has nothing to do with the man v bear thing and stuff. We will get into that. But how these surveys are conducted and how information is presented online to make a point.
Would you rather be stuck in a forest with a man or a bear?
Bear. Men are scary. With a bear.
What I've heard about bears, they don't always attack you, right? Unless you, like, f*** with them. So maybe a bear.
Depends what man, but probably a bear.
100% a bear, which is like terrifying to say, but
Definitely a bear. Some men are very scary out there.
A bear. I would say a man.
I want to ask you a few questions about that. 1, I want to ask you a few questions about that TikTok video. 1, how many total women were interviewed to make that video? 2, how did they select the women that they were going to talk to in the video? 3, what did they say to the women before the camera started rolling about what the survey was or what it was for? And 4, how did they correct for people knowing that if I give the unexpected answer, I get to be in a video or I get to be on TV? Yes, this is a veiled jab at Jimmy Kimmel. You could say, okay, this is being presented for entertainment. It's not fair to treat it as a scientific study, which, okay, fair enough. But people have made some very serious points based on the assumption that the average woman would rather encounter a bear than a man, whereas I do not feel we have established that at all. Whatever the average response to man v bear is, which I argue we don't know, the internet did what it does best, which is to say it sorted everyone into 2 warring factions in the great man v bear debates of 2024, and everyone started yelling at each other. And, you know, we have people saying, oh, well, of course women are going to choose the bear because misogyny is bad and men are dangerous, and sure. And then you have people on the other side saying it's ridiculous to choose the bear because a bear could maul you far more easily than a man could, which, yeah, that's also correct. Let's dig into what people are actually saying about this and what it actually says about humanity, and I will at last solve all problems on internet. I'm glad I made a grammatical error when I said that. There's an argument against accepting the answer of I would like to meet the bear, and that is the statistical probability argument, as I will call it, which is to say, statistically, you have met way, way more men than you have bears. If you have an unusually bear-centric lifestyle, let's say you've met a dozen bears in your life, you have definitely met hundreds or thousands times more men than bears, even if you're this bear-loving ursophile? If you're this ursinphile? If I can find a word for that, I'll print it right here. One way that I think we can poke a slight hole in that argument is being alone in the woods implies a consequence-free environment. And so, how many men have you met in consequence-free environments? I have loads of sympathy for the woman, especially one who has had a terrible experience with a man, saying, no, I would much rather meet the bear. Men have already failed this test. I get that. One thing I also wonder, and I know there's no way this data exists, it's just an idle wondering on my part, is like if you live in an area where you've been taught bear safety, such as the Rockies, if you're far more likely to choose the man. In that TikTok video we watched earlier, those women all appeared to be in an urban environment. And look, that may have been Salt Lake City. Maybe they were in the Rockies or some other bear-riddled environment. But listen, in high school, I was taught that if you've got 6 bullets in the gun, the first 5 are for the grizzly, the last one's for you. So I would choose the man, but of course I'm not the target audience for the question. I just suspect that if you had also been taught that you should commit suicide rather than fight a bear, if you would have less amicable opinions. There's another thing that I think bears saying. Bears saying? Huh? Responding to a survey is very different from making decisions in the moment. There's another TikTok we should watch.
Okay. All right. Got this. Okay. There's nowhere to go. There's bears.
I saw that.
So that plot again. Woman encounters bear, runs to man for help. Let me jump out in front of this. That woman was in danger. She handled herself fine. She got out safely. Congratulations, woman. This is not in any way a judgment on you or your survival abilities, on which I am not qualified to comment. But Reddit got their claws into this, and it went exactly how you think. The culture war was renewed, for now there was new ammo that people could use against each other. Huzzah! As with the survey videos, there's a bunch of context that is missing here, and again, you just want the woman to be safe. Like, nobody's trying to score points in the culture war when there's actual danger at hand. So while I do think it's an error to choose the bear over the man, tactically speaking, these women who are very safely responding to a hypothetical to make a point by saying they would choose the bear, I don't fault them either, because what they're saying is, I consider men dangerous, that I'm in a society where I have to consider men dangerous. I think it is foolish for us to ignore that. This is actually a relatively safe way to communicate that idea, and maybe it's something we should listen to. At least, it bears thinking about. Men, come here. I want to be like that TikToker who's like, come here, and then he gets close, and he's very handsome, so you enjoy it, and he's very successful, and he's a good creator. Good job, that guy, whatever your name is. Anyway, men, come here. If you think it is silly that women would choose the bear over the man, and you want to make hilarious jokes about it, or point to it and call it absurd, then that does not necessarily make you part of the problem. It just means that you can identify a tactical error, and you like making fun things on the internet. I don't think either of those are crimes. However, if you're like, oh, this makes me so angry. Oh, women are so stupid. They've been brainwashed. Women are dumb. Then yeah, you are part of the problem. Stop it, you jerk. Don't get online and harass women, because bears don't get online and harass women. Idiot. I have seen an interesting response to this, and I have only seen it in one location, but I want to respond anyway, and if it turns out I'm just bullying this one creator, that's okay. Her following is orders of magnitude bigger than mine. I am not punching down. There's no one I could punch down on.
Who would you rather share your feelings with? A tree or a woman? And I'm just gonna say it, I think this is the perfect addition to the conversation. Some people are calling this the boys' revenge, but I don't even think this is asked in bad faith. It's the perfect counterbalance to the question if the point was to actually have authentic conversations about how to feel safer in relationships. Women have been saying that the whole reason that women are picking bear is because they don't feel safe with men and that men should care about that. So it would be intellectually consistent that when men tell you they don't feel safe sharing their feelings with women, we should care about that.
I appreciate what this TikToker is trying to do, but I think that's a pretty stupid counter question, or boys' revenge as she called it. Of course I would choose the tree, because if I choose the tree, I guarantee there are no consequences to that action. Zero. None. If I choose a woman, maybe she'll maul me and kill me. Obviously you're going to choose a tree because this is not a life or death situation. This is, do you want to randomly share your feelings with some rando, or do you want to talk to a tree for a minute? Frankly, the second one sounds great. The first one could be kind of cool. I guess that's kind of what speed dating is, but I don't know. I've been married for far too long now to know what speed dating is. If there is something we can learn from this hypothetical, I think it's that we should let this silly hypothetical just be what it is, which is to say, men, just chill. Just be nice, be respectful toward women, and expect other men to be respectful toward women. Call them out when they fail at it, so that you can nudge women a little bit closer toward choosing man. And if you're a woman, I realize that there's more tactical considerations in calling men out, but, keep choosing bear until men improve. Bye.